We are at Seminole Ridge Community High School. Today is January 22nd, Wednesday, January 22nd, 2014, and we are here with students from Seminole Ridge High School ROTC program interviewing Senator Joseph Abruzzo. And Senator, when is your birthday?
August 14, 1980.
And where do you live, sir?
I live in Boynton Beach, Florida.
Okay, and what branch of the service were you in?
I was in the United States Coast Guard Reserves.
Okay, and when did you serve?
I served from 2005 to 2013.
Okay. And why did you join that branch of the service?
After taking a look at all our incredible branches, the one that stuck out to me was the Coast Guard because they were a multifaceted force, both sea, land, and air, and it stuck out to me, and I fell in love with the Coast Guard.
Okay, I don't want to overextend. Okay. And the people attending are, as I said, the students from the high school, and each one of them will be identified as each one of them sits down. And my name is Carlton Cartwright. I'm the Executive Director of the Children's Coalition Incorporated. And Mr. Segment 2, go ahead and ask him the question again. You can just take it from the top. Go ahead.
Okay. Where were you drafted, or did you enlist?
I enlisted in the U.S. Coast Guard.
Okay. Where were you living at the time?
I was living in Delray Beach, Florida.
Why did you join?
It was always in my heart. I had a passion to serve, and the military to me was the most important service that any man or woman could serve our country. So I set out, even when I was a young child, that I knew one day I would serve in our military.
Why did you pick the service branch you joined?
You know, I took a look at all of our incredible branches of our armed service. To me, the Coast Guard really stuck out because it was a multi-faceted force. And on top of that, they had a law enforcement component to it that some of the other branches did not. So not only do you go through a boot camp type training, but then you go into a law enforcement type training after. So that appealed to me, and ultimately I love the size of the force and the family niche of the Coast Guard, and I was a proud member.
Do you recall your first days in service?
I do, in two ways. I recall boot camp, as it's commonly known, and then I recall when I got to my unit. And when I got to my unit, they just got back from serving in Iraq. And to me, it was a very humbling experience joining a unit. Not a lot of the guys wanted to talk about what was going on in war in the Middle East. And it was kind of a very unique situation, but I got to learn a lot in the first couple of days from some great officers and chiefs, and it was just an incredible experience. I joined PSU 307. Again, it was a real family niche. There was a little over 100 people in the unit, Port Security Unit 307, and just an awesome place to be when you join.
What did it feel like?
You know, of course, any time you go into something new, you're a little bit nervous, but ultimately, you know, they train you to be so prepared for any task that you're going to be challenged with that it was a real warp speed learning curve experience. And just again, I really have to commend my chiefs, probably most of all, and of course our officers for setting out the training and getting us prepared to tackle anything that came in front of us.
Tell me about your boot camp or training experiences. Do you remember your instructors?
I do. Petty Officer Scott. You know, regardless of what you may or may not know about the Coast Guard, it has one of the toughest boot camps of all the forces. I think it's ranked number 2, both physically, and then we have a very large educational component of the Coast Guard because you have to learn so much because of being multifaceted. And I was the leader of my squad. I was a squad leader, and the one thing I remember about boot camp, when you're the leader of your boot camp, no matter if anybody did anything wrong, you also got punished for it. So I had to take a lot of punishment during boot camp because of being the leader, but it was great. A lot of leaders through the different classes got switched out, but I was fortunate enough to be a leader from day one to graduation. And it was, again, just a great experience. Once again, don't mean to reiterate, but the training that they provided, the stress that they put you under, ensured that you could succeed in a wartime situation or any type of challenge that came in front of you. And that's training that still sticks with me to this day. When I see people freaking out because of pressure in the legislature or politics, I try to keep my composure, and there's no question about it that training translates into things I do in my everyday life to this day.
And finally, how did you get through it?
You know, when you would have taps at night, we had watch though. You only got 3-4 hours of sleep. The sleep deprivation is part of the training through all those months. But when you had your brief time to sleep, it's kind of a calming, humble experience. You know, there's no church or religion in boot camp because of the situation they put you in, but that was a time just to reflect on the task at hand and know that everything that you're going through is for your own good, to keep you alive if necessary. And when you reflect, it helped me just get through the next day in a good way.
Thank you.
Thank you. Appreciate it. How you doing?
Good. How are you doing?
Joe.
And what is your name, sir?
Charles Green.
Charles Green. And sir, what was your name?
Brogan Zelinka.
Brogan Zelinka?
Yes, sir.
Okay, carry on.
Which wars did you serve in?
I served while we were in Afghanistan and Iraq, but I never got deployed in a war zone or anything of that nature.
What was your job assignment?
PSU 307. When I served in the port security unit, we were training. This unit particularly was more of a combat unit. So when they went into Iraq, for instance, they secured the ports and the facilities around the ports. So part of my duty at PSU 307 was to be ready to be deployed to a combat situation at any time. Again, when I got assigned, they just came back from Iraq, so they didn't have another deployment coming up. In the meantime, we were also there for anything that we needed. Drug interdictions, there was shoreside, small boats, immigration, whatever it may be, we were there to protect St. Petersburg, Florida, and the west coast of Florida. I then got assigned to Marine Safety Unit Chicago, and that was a complete different role, but also very challenging. I would go out and inspect facilities along the Illinois River to make sure they were complying with their environmental standards. I was actually on a joint task force that went in and raided a facility who was polluting our waters. Marine casualties, if a ship hits a bridge, things of that. We were out. We did good community stuff. Although cold, we delivered Christmas trees on our cutter. They come from the top from Michigan. We come through Lake Michigan and arrive at Navy Pier in Chicago and deliver Christmas trees. So everything from being exposed to benzene in inspecting facilities to dealing with oil spills. I'm actually somebody who's been out there laying oil boom and oil spill situations, marine casualties, and great community service. Kind of did it all. And then I had a military combat component in PSU 307. So again, part of the reason I joined Multifaceted, I've done a lot of different work throughout my time in the Coast Guard. The one great thing about the Coast Guard Reserve is they put you in. It doesn't matter if you're a reservist or have been there for 10 years. When you go on your drill weekends or when you go on active duty or when you have your mandatory time, you get thrown right into the mix with the regular full-time active duty personnel. So It's not like, oh, you're a reservist, you're there.
Okay. Did you see combat?
I did not. The Coast Guard is a little different. We're Homeland Security,
Yeah.
and we're in the Department of Homeland Security. I was in the one hybrid unit that would go overseas. Just fortunate and unfortunate, I didn't get an opportunity to serve in that way.
Okay. Tell me about a couple of your most memorable experiences.
Okay, just being with your unit. I mean, overall, you build a brotherhood, and to watch each other's back in all different types of situations. Again, the training, although I didn't get deployed to be with PSU 307, we did a lot of hard training and training with like Air Force security forces to be ready at all times. And the thing that I miss the most about it, believe it, is your brother or sister next to you. It's when you serve in that capacity, to know that somebody has your back. It's all about your unit. And it's kind of weird when you leave the unit, even for a different unit, even if you're still in. You feel like you're leaving your family.
Yes.
And I remember my family the most.
Did you receive any medals or awards? If so, how?
Yeah. I received a presidential unit citation for Hurricane Katrina, global war on terrorism, national defense. I have medals for my marksmanship. Sure. Okay.
So, thank you very much.
Thank you.
Who's next? And what is your name, miss?
Heather Riley.
Heather Riley. Okay, Heather. Heather, I need for you to move in a little bit, please.
That's me.
Nice to meet you.
Okay. Carry on.
How did you stay in touch with your family?
Well, when I was on active duty, fortunately, we have cell phones. So now, when you go through training, you can't have any communication device. So you could write letters and that, but that's what you do. But it's not like it was in the older days.
Yeah.
We almost every troop has a cell phone, so you could call your family in your downtime.
What was the food like?
The food, believe it or not, was very good. Well, let me put it in two ways. Boot camp had great food. The galley over in St. Petersburg, Florida, was very good. Marine Safety Unit Chicago, the way we were set up, it was almost like a police station. So you had to eat out all the time, which was great. Now, when I was on active duty, out in the water or in training or on a mission, we ate MREs, ready to serve meals, and those weren't that good. but I've had worse. Let's put it that way.
Did you have plenty of supplies with you?
Yeah. Semper Paratus, always ready, is the motto of the Coast Guard. So we're always ready for anything.
Did you feel any pressure or stress on the job?
Sure. I mean, it's not easy. It's not for everybody. Actually, I'll rephrase that. If there's a job that you like to do, no matter what it is, the military has it for you. If you're a business person, you could go into the supply end of it. Anything that you want to do in your life, you have. Let's say you want to be a TV reporter. You could go into public relations. So I do stress the military that, to those thinking about it, it's not all strap on an M4 and go out there. Whatever you think you want to do in your life, I guarantee you the military has some type of job that relates to it in the civilian world.
Was there something special you did for good luck?
Make the sign of the cross a lot, but no. I don't have a rabbit's foot or anything like that.
How did people entertain themselves?
All different ways. It depends. When you're on active duty or you're on a mission, it's whatever's at hand. I don't remember a lot of entertaining. I remember a lot of, if you could sleep on your downtime, you went to sleep. So I can't recall any. There wasn't any parties. Let me put it that way.
Were there any entertainers there for you at all?
No. I guess the only presentation on stage we would get was the orders of the day.
What did you do when on leave?
It varied where you were at, but again, rest was important because that was probably one of the times you could rest. But let's say it was a weekend leave. If you weren't having the ability to go home and see your family, it was just something to keep you, calm and grounded to the real. Would rather go see a movie, or I really don't remember a lot of, going out to bars and things of that nature. I remember if it was leave, people were really trying to just have a relaxing time before they went back into a hectic schedule.
Where did you travel while in the service?
I went to Virginia Beach, Cape May, of course, is where we had training. Been through different military bases, Camp Lejeune, Blanding, Yorktown. Of course, St. Petersburg, Florida was my main station. Marine Safety Unit, Chicago. So everywhere around the Great Lakes, Indiana, Michigan, and things of that nature. So everything was Homeland Security and home-based.
Did you recall any particular humorous or unusual events?
Well, I will say this for the record. There was a, he had to be a chief by the time I left. Chief Ralphie Ortiz from PSU 307. There's always a couple guys in the units that make you laugh and help you get through the day better, and he was definitely somebody that kept a smile on your face when you needed it.
What are some of the pranks that you or others would pull?
I could tell you some good boot camp stories. There wasn't tons of, I would say, pranks within the unit, but I remember one of my shipmates. He wrote home to his grandma that he was sick and had a cold in boot camp, and his grandma sent him tea and honey in the teddy bear. So one of the company commanders, that's what we call our drill sergeants, he got all upset and, what is this? And then he made him, he's like, you're sleeping with this tonight. And then he gave it to him, and he came by his rack and said, no, he made him cuddle with the honey bear all night long. Well, it had to be 3, 4 in the morning. We hear, get up, in the garbage can. The bear rolled off the rack. So then we had to get up and do all kind of athletic exercises and that honey bear. But the funniest, I would have to say, because it fell off the rack, the next night he had to stay up all night. The company commander went home and got his daughter's tea set and little chair, and they put him in the gangway between the two units, and he had to stay up all night having a tea party with himself in an English accent. And those the next morning that walked by when we were crossing and laughed, they were pulling them off, and then that next night, everybody that laughed had to have a tea party with him all night long. So some interesting, funny stories in boot camp, no question.
Do you have any photographs?
I do. I have photographs.
And who are the people?
When I served, when I was really in the midst of it, it was before we have all these iPhones and things like that. But I do have photos.
I'm going to interject there. If you have any photos that you'd like to submit to the library,
Sure.
we can get copies from you, and we can put it in the package that we're going to send.
I'll
That's
email
what that's
it to
all
you.
about.
Excellent.
Thank you very much, Senator.
What do you think?
And you'll need to identify who the people are in the photo.
Sure.
What did you think of officers or fellow soldiers?
They were great. Again, we're a small force. The Coast Guard is smaller than the New York City Police Department, and including reserves. So, we really had a family atmosphere, looking out with one another. You knew a lot of the people throughout the country. You have friends stationed all over the globe. But the officers were great. It's, again, always ready, semper paratus, everything. They gave you the tools. If you did not do your job or your mission, it was your own fault because you were trained and things were provided to you. And from the officers down to the chiefs, I enlisted, so it was a great experience.
And did you keep a personal diary?
I didn't keep a personal diary. I didn't do that.
Okay. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Good afternoon.
And sir, what is your name?
My name is Jimmy Marchand.
Jimmy Marshall?
Marchand,
Marchand.
Yes, sir.
Okay, thank you very much.
Senator Abruzzo. Do you recall the day that you ended your service?
I did. I was actually in session, and my enlistment came up. So they made an announcement in the Florida Senate, and I was kind of bashful about it because, when we serve in the legislature, you have to do things for the public because you want the public to know. But I never did the military, like when I campaigned and things of that nature. I never really pushed it out. I never talked about it because, again, that part of my service had nothing or had, wasn't a ploy for politics. So I was I was grateful that I was recognized, but it wasn't, I was sad at the end of the day.
And where was it that you were recognized?
In the Florida Senate.
Okay.
The Senate President made an announcement.
Do you remember the days or what you did after you finished your service?
Leading up to my enlistment ending, it was a difficult time for me because I really, it's gotten to the point that I couldn't serve the constituents well and the military. Kind of had to pick one or another, and my enlistment was ending, and I was this close to going back in. I was going to go into our officer training program, but then you get elected to the Senate, and the district is so big with so many challenges. I had to make a decision, so it was difficult leading up, and then the days after it was just, you second guess yourself, thinking, should have done my 20, but did 8 good years, and it was one of those difficult decisions you have to make in your life.
Fair enough. Did you go back to school after your service?
No, I just ended.
Okay. Did you make any close friends while in the service?
Oh yeah. I still speak to my friends to this day, and what's cool about it is the unit I was in, the PSU 307. I have a lot of my former shipmates. They went to Secret Service or the Air Marshals or whatever it is. So I keep up with them, and a lot of them are in some form of federal law enforcement. So we stay in contact regularly. There'll be friendships there that will last a lifetime.
And lastly, did you join any veteran organizations?
Yeah, I'm active in a lot of different veteran organizations, just being a senator, so constantly involved. I will always be involved in the military, and most importantly, supporting the military every step of the way.
Can you just name a few organizations that you're involved in, sir?
Our local VA, our Jewish. I support projects like what they're doing right here in Loxahatchee for our the restoration of the Vietnam helicopter. I know you know about that.
Right.
425.
Have you guys been out there?
Yeah, they've been to the school a few times.
Okay,
They've seen
cool.
the parades and whatnot.
Cool. So, and then if there's a day to honor our military, I make sure we take part in it always. It's important.
Thank you for your time, Senator.
Thank you.
Next. You last one? Good, have a seat.
Logan's.
And your name?
Rogan Zlinka.
Carry on.
That's me.
What did you go on to do as a career after the war?
Well, I served during the war, never was in combat, and then my career, because I was
After your service.
my service just ended not too long ago, less than a year. So I'm a state senator and continue.
Get right into it.
Yeah, just continue to be a state senator.
Did your military experience influence your thinking about war or about the military in general?
Just improved it. You have expectations going into anything that you do, and the military was everything and more than I thought it would be.
What kind of activities does your post or association have, like the veterans organizations you're part with?
I mean, the veterans organizations in Palm Beach County really have anything you could think of, from service still helping in the community to social gatherings for their membership, to making sure that if anybody has health care problems, they're directing them to the right place. So, I can't say enough about our veterans organizations. I'm actually leaving here and going to be with our Jewish War Veteran organization in the county right when I'm done with this interview.
Okay. Do you plan to attend any reunions?
Yeah, you know what? I haven't. Let me put it this way. It's not like high school. I haven't gotten anything for a reunion yet, but I do keep in regular contact with a number of my shipmates from several of the units.
How did your service and experience affect your life?
It improved it in every way. Everything in life, whether it's business, family, service, politics, you're going to reach challenges. And the military sets you up to face any challenge in an appropriate way. So I use my time in the military every day of my life.
And last, is there anything you'd like to add that we haven't covered here?
Just how thrilled I am about what you're doing here at Seminole Ridge and the incredible ROTC program. I was fortunate enough to speak to your class today and to see, I think you have just about 300 members or more, and the service that you are putting forth in high school is really commendable, and you're the things that keep the wheel turning on our country. So thank you for your service and everybody that was part of the interview and the presentation today.
Thank you. We appreciate you coming out and speaking to our student body.
Thank you.
Sir, we'd like to thank you for your service.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you very much, Senator.